Well, squids, today we're not going to have a motorcycle video, but we are going to have an interesting video. I'm going to fix my DJI Mini 2, and here it is. You might be wondering, what is wrong with it? Well, it broke this arm, and I did this in Portugal. I used the DJI Mini, I actually had it in the channel, featured it on the channel, and I think these things are great. You can build your own drone, but these have gotten so cheap, $400, you can get one of these, $200 in the used market. And I love the 4K camera for doing establishment shots. These drones are great. The only other drone that I lust after is the Skydio 2, and now they are not supporting that drone anymore. This one does not have an autofollow feature or anything, but it's pretty much useless with the motor off like this. So there are problems. This has a 2-year warranty, but they do not cover crashes, which seems to be kind of useless. So if you intend on buying something out of eBay, as I did, with a warranty from Allstate, I would avoid it. Just buy it from the dealer itself. So they do not cover crashes. So in this video, I am going to be fixing this up. Here's the other arm. And one thing you have to do, make sure that you remove the battery and your SD card from the slot. And then what I would recommend is taking all the propellers out, because it just makes it so much easier to do this. Take all the screws, flip it over, because we are going to be fitting a screw in there. You're going to need a very tiny screwdriver. If you've done any computer work, that's exactly what you're going to be needing. So for these little screwdrivers, they're just Phillips heads, and they work pretty well. You can use them for any type of computer work, and that's what I got them for. So let's get started. So there's a couple of screws. If you look here at the bottom, there's these recessed cavities, and you're going to just kind of fit it in there. Sometimes it doesn't want to go in. There we go. On this side, the front part, there's another hole on each side. 1, 2. So we have 4 screws were removed, and now, so if you look right there, each arm has got these 2 black screws. They're different from the screws that we removed in the holes. So I'm going to remove those. That's going to get that arm. And there are 2 screws right there, but in order for us to get there, let's see if we can start pulling this thing apart. There's another tool that you should use is this. It's like it's a little cramming thing for computer hardware. And you just kind of use this and pry up the plastic. The plastic did take a tumble, so it's broken in a couple of places. And I'm just kind of twisting it and lifting it. So take this, just kind of slide it in the front. Don't go in too deep, because there's stuff in there you don't want damaged. There we go. So here's that shell. It's a little stuck up here. Don't force it. And that's the shell. Very simple shell. Like, this thing is so lightweight. So you need to get the top shell out, and then unscrew this, and then unscrew this one here. So right over here. 1 on each side. 1, and then the other one's there. Very important to get these 2. Be able to pop this bottom part. You see the plastic, because I've already removed the 1 point to repair. There we go. It normally takes a little bit more to remove, because it's a little bit tighter. But since I've already removed it in the past, there we go. This is a heat sink, this little metal thing. We're not going to mess with that yet. with the drone more visible, this is our GPS unit, and it's held down by one screw here and then one here. Like this kind of is flexible. One here and then one here, and you can kind of pull it over. So let me see if I can get a good shot of that right in here. That is what you want to remove, and then you have that screw right there. Then you kind of push it to the side and grab those two screws on each side. Right there, magnetized. And then another one on the other side, just kind of push it aside. It was just a little stuck on. But you should put this under the wire. So now you see the GPS unit is free. Move it over to this side. It's just like a little ribbon cable. On this board, let me see if you can kind of look at it. So you have one arm, two arms, three, four. I'm removing this one. That's got all the wires. And there's three wires, and there's a ground wire at the very bottom. So keep that in mind. It's underneath the heatsink. So I'm going to remove this heatsink so you guys can tell. This is where it becomes fun. So you have 1, 2, and 3 wires. We have to unsolder those and then take these 3 wires. Remember, there's a white one first, the middle one is the black one, and then the red is the third one. Keep that in mind. Take a photo of that, because if you reverse this, the motor is going to reverse the other way. You want it to go a certain direction. So, and also there's a gray wire right in here that goes to the bottom of the board. And that's like a ground wire or whatever. So keep that in mind. And also, we have to remove this old arm. The old arm is not doing us any good. So there's a pin here, and you should be able to kind of push it down, I believe. There we go. There we go. And it's a little difficult to put back, because I had quite a bit of hard time doing this. So this is the pin. This is the pin that I just removed. I just simply took my screwdriver, pushed it down, and then this is like a spring. You know, that's the springy action of the DJI Mini. So, and I have my soldering iron ready for this. I am not an expert at this sort of stuff. I never solder, but these things, you know, they're expensive. And if I send it out to fix, I don't even know who fixes it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I've already replaced this motor. This motor is actually good, but the arm fell. I could actually even repair the plastic. I just didn't like it. So here's my soldering iron, and now the name for it. There we go. So that's the red on the right side. Here's the black right there, and now here is the white. There we go. Great success. Nice. So remember, there's one more wire. We're going to reverse this, and here is the heatsink. Heatsink is held by 1, 2, and 3 screws. Now I'm going to pull up these screws. This one's still on there. There's one. There's two. This plate should come right out. There's some adhesive on the other side. It's like a heatsink thing. There we go. So now with this metal piece removed, there's a cable here. So we're going to follow this cable, and right in here, this one, you just kind of pull up on it. Takes a little bit of a, just going to push up. There we go. Comes right up. So it just kind of snaps into place. We don't have to solder that, but we need to fish it out. So let's turn it the other way. I'm actually going to momentarily just put this back. So the gray cable I just pulled out, it actually goes in between that. It just goes into that hole there. Able to pull the arm out, and there's the arm. So the arm has seen better days, but the motor is still working. So I'm going to keep this around. And if I wanted, I guess I could repair it. I'm just not that brave. So let's put that aside. And let's look at the new arm. Here we go. So when you buy these, you have to specify front left, front rear, rear or front left, front right, rear left. And now it's good that they even provided this. So for us, that makes it easier. And we're going to fish this stuff right through the cavity. And we're going to snap it all into place. Make sure it's oriented right. So what we have is the gray cable that we just removed. We're going to fish it to the very bottom. So watch what I do here. So this cable, I'm going to fish it right in here, and it's going to go all the way to the bottom. Right in here. So now I'm going to flip it back up, and there it is. There's that cable. There's that cable that I just fished through here. There we go. And if you can tell, where it connects is that little hole there. That's where we're going to put it. And you know, it takes a little bit of practice getting this on there. It is just so tiny. Let's see if I can. Remember, I am not an expert to this. So, but this is in case you guys need to. Oh, it's almost there. Okay, not quite yet. It should snap. I don't think it's quite there. So I think it is. So let me see if I pull up. Yeah, it's nice and stiff in there. Just make sure it doesn't come out. It takes a little bit of an effort. So now I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to take my plastic or my little sheet here. I'm just going to put it here. And now flip it back up. Now it's oriented top up. We have the 3 cables. So remember when we talked about where they go, the white one, the black one. If you lost where they go, the board actually has it written. So red, white, and black. And you want to make sure that some of this stuff is scraped. We will be melting a little bit more of that beautiful solder. Actually, this might have some solder. So we're going to start with the outward from out in, and I want to make sure I bend this. You know, I don't want this wire to be like this and overlap the other stuff. I want to make sure that it's got like a almost 90-degree angle to it. So I'm going to take my soldering iron, and this is when having the little helping hands might come in useful. So there we go. Oh, it melted too close to the, yeah, so I'm going to have to just kind of do this really quick. And I guess I'll use my hands here. I don't know if you guys, can you tell where it is? Okay, so I'm going to there we go. That melted right in there. But I also want to just add a little bit more of the solder. Shit. There we go. So now black. There we go. And now the white. The white, I guess it could be a different direction here. Okay, and I think we're done with the soldering. So I'm going to kind of tug on it, make sure they don't come apart, and also make sure that there's no solder in between. And I believe we're almost done. So we tuck in the wires underneath. If you look at these wires, you see they kind of looped it around, so maybe don't tuck it in, just kind of push it towards the arm here. Also, it's going to be doing this, so keep that in mind. Okay, so at this point we are almost done. And let's look at the new arm. Here we go. So when you buy these, you have to specify front left, front rear, rear or front left, front right, rear left. And now it's good that they even provided this. So for us, that makes it easier. And we're going to fish this stuff right through the cavity. And we're going to snap it all into place. Make sure it's oriented right. So what we have is the gray cable that we just removed. We're going to fish it to the very bottom. So I'm going to fish it right in here. And it's going to go all the way to the bottom. Right in here. So now I'm going to flip it back up. Is that little hole there? That's where we're going to put it. And you know, it takes a little bit of practice getting this on there. It is just so tiny. Okay, not quite yet. It should snap. So I think it is. So let me see if I pull up. Yeah, it's nice and stiff in there. Just make sure it doesn't come out. It takes a little bit of an effort. So we're going to start with the outward from out in, and I want to make sure I bend this. You know, I don't want this wire to be like this and overlap the other stuff. I want to make sure that it's got like a almost 90-degree angle to it. There we go. So now black. There we go. And now the white. The white, I guess it could be a different direction here. Okay, and I think we're done with the soldering. So I'm going to kind of tug on it, make sure they don't come apart, and also make sure that there's no solder in between. And I believe we're almost done. So we tuck in the wires underneath. If you look at these wires, you see they kind of looped it around, so maybe don't tuck it in, just kind of push it. So there's a direction to the little plastic bit. One is round right there and one is flat. And that's how you're gonna like figure out how to put it into the drone. So let's put it in here. It took me some form of wrestling to get this little pin back in. And the key is to put the pin in the midway rotation. So don't open it or don't close it. Put it in the middle. That way, once you put it in, it'll just kind of lock back up. So there's only 1 or 2 ways to do it. But that seems to have worked out. Have the wires and everything. So this kind of just snaps right in. Just make sure that nothing is covering that. Kind of looking around, make sure that everything's okay. Because all we have to do is put the cover, and then there's like 2 screws here that we're going to be putting. Make sure it's the right screws, guys. Put them right in here. Okay, so that is on. It's as good as new. So now, let's turn it upside down and put the last screws in there. Go on, little guy. Get in there. So one of the important things about the DJIs when you're replacing motors is that you want to make sure you get the right motor that rotates in the same direction. So usually there's an axis, like there's an X. There's this line here, and there's this line here. This line rotates, the motors rotate clockwise. This line rotates counterclockwise. And the way to be sure you know, especially to line up with the blades, is that right here, there's a little line that is not existent on this one. So counterclockwise has got a little line, and then when you on the blade. So these, I know, are clockwise direction. If you look carefully, there is a little parentheses there. That means that that's a counterclockwise blade. Turn it on as well. The problem is with this drone, when it fell, it started becoming very wonky. It started like hovering strangely. I calibrated many times, it just didn't work. So I got the app on. I see the gimbal, so the gimbal works. And now to light up this, you just kind of push it this way, and the blades are working. So this one is going counterclockwise. It is going clockwise. Done a big success. So the next step is testing it. So you have to enable GPS. It's hovering pretty well. Okay, so that's good. Backward, forward, left, right. Hey, that actually is smooth. That is behaving very smooth. That's incredible. I think I might have fixed it. Well, I am very surprised that this works. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I am very happy that I can still use this drone and do some filming for my YouTube channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this content, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell so you can get notifications when I release another video. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.